things. The more I've done this, the more I've found that when there's been misalignment, it's been because people are looking at or don't have the same data in front of them. And so one of the things I've tried to bring, and my view is finance is oftentimes the brains of the organization, where it can bring the knowledge and the data and the rest of it to these kinds of conversations, is to make sure not only do we have it, but everybody has it. Because I think when everybody has it, it goes such a long way to eliminating any misalignment, and it gets you to the same decision. So I'll share a story with you, which is when I joined Typeform a few months ago, in one of our first leadership team meetings, there was a question about budget. And everyone in the room turned to me and they said, "Michael, can we do this? It's a budget question." And I took a moment and I said, I think the only reason you're asking me is because you believe I have information that you don't have. And so let me share the information that I have. Here's where we are against our budget. Here's what we're talking about. Here's the cost. Here's the potential payback. Here are the other projects and priorities that we have in flight. How do you think it stacks up? And put it back to the group, because in those sorts of situations, I think groups will make the right decisions when they have the right information. And one of the things that I've found in my role is it's not necessarily to be the decision maker. I think being the decision maker, it's not an overrated part of the job, but it's one that creates confusion. The part of my role is to make sure that the business, the company, has access to this information, because when they do, the company is going to make the right decision. And that's a much more scalable thing than any one individual doing it. Yeah, the one for me at the moment is, I'll oversimplify things a little bit, but in these sorts of businesses, you have the new customers that you go out and you win. You have existing customers when they're with you, and then you've got, churn, and you're looking at retention metrics at the end. And I think in my experience, generally, organizations spend a lot of time thinking about new customers. Where are we going to find them? How are we going to market to them? How are we going to bring them through the funnel? A lot of time on new customers. I think where organizations spend a fair amount of time is thinking about things like retention and churn, and how are we going to make sure we keep our customers and the rest of it. I think what gets overlooked is when you have the customers, that middle part. And one of the things that I've been trying to bring is really looking at a lot of activity metrics. So, we can talk about how many new customers we're winning. We can talk about how many customers we have. We can talk about retention rates. But one of the most important things for me, and one of the biggest leading indicators about the health of a business, is what are your customers doing with you when they're there? And, we can get into things like net dollar retention rates and the rest of it. But I think a lot of it is almost more product-like in terms of the metrics that we're looking at, to really understand whether people are using it. Because if people are using it, we'll figure out the other bits. We'll figure out how to monetize. We'll figure out how to make sure all of those other things flow through. But how do we really understand whether once a customer gets in, does it become that, toy that they play with every day and do something with? Or does it become the collectible that sits up on the wall that never gets touched and is only there to look at? We want to make sure people are using our products every day and using them the way we hope they're using them. And that, to me, has been a big push in having some of these monthly reviews and thinking about metrics that often get overlooked. How do we think about that activity piece? For us here at Typeform, we have a relatively new leadership team. And so, my big priority is to help make sure that we have our strategy and plan in place in a way that we understand, not just as a leadership team, but also as a company, to go out and accomplish the things that we want to accomplish. And it's lined up nicely for me because it's allowed me also, as a relatively new member of the team, to take what I'm learning about the business and bring that to the group in a way that we can use it to set that strategy and set that plan and set ourselves up for success.